Hey everybody, it's Wizard again. So I mentioned in my update that I was going to talk about Ard Boyz. Um, I played Ard Boyz last year and took Marines, and I wasn't really prepared for it, so I ended up doing mediocre. I got one complete massacre, and then I've got a minor loss, and then I got a minor loss, and so that knocked me out of the running by a couple points. Um, and so I wanted to prepare for Ard Boyz a lot more this year, and for going over my competitive builds and models that I own. I'm still gonna have to purchase some models, but most competitively, I have Orks, and Orks are really a strange army to play at 2500. Um, so I'm going to try to hash out a list of asking people for advice on different forums. Oswitz, I actually mentioned him in a comment that I'd like to get some Ard Boyz lists from him. And I'll probably link his blog here in a second. Um, and so I'm really just trying to figure out what I want to do for Ard Boyz. There's a couple lists that I've been working on, and Dash of Pepper, I think it is, from Daka Daka has been really, really useful in his advice. Um, I'm going to go mainly a mechanized list. I want to make sure everything can get to my opponent on second turn with a log, or third turn, definitely. And that's the big focus, is because you're either going to get shot to death or you need to get to your opponent. So I've been starting with Gazgul as an HQ, just because he's a one-man wrecking crew. Big mech with custom force field is kind of a requirement. And then I'm going to do 3 battle wagons full of boys. And I'm going to put 20 in one, 19 in one, and then 18 in the other, so then the mech and the Ngazi can ride in separate vehicles. Now after that, that's kind of where my strategy breaks down. I have all these points left to play with. Now one thought is I was going to use Storm Boys. 3 20-man strong units of Storm Boys, because they can keep up with the vehicles, and they're actually still a relatively good threat in combat. I also wanted to try to use Truck Boys, but 12 boys coming out of a truck, um, they can only really hit soft targets. They can't hit anything too dangerous, or they'll end up tying or losing combat. And trucks are really, really easy to pop. So I'm not sure if I want to run them in a 2,500 point list. If it was like an 1850 or something, I'd probably run them, but a 2,500 point list, there's just so much shots that go around. Another thing I'm going to probably do in the end is I'm going to take a knob unit and make them troop and throw them in a battle wagon. I'm not sure what gear I'm going to give them, or if I'm going to go completely and gear them all separately, which I probably should do because it is Ard Boyz. And so then I have sort of a good charge unit that can take on harder targets. Still kind of throwing ideas around. Oh, and Snickrot is a must. Snickrot's going to be in the list. It's inevitable at this point. You have to have Snickrot in your list, especially at that high point game. Um, just like Gazgul. Gazgul kind of has to make the list for Orcs to become competitive at 2,500. Besides that, I'm not sure what to do. I mean, the points get really, really tight. Trying to get all that in there means the Storm Boys might get cut, might not. The Knob unit should make it in over the Storm Boys, but I do like having those 60 guys flying in the back there, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So if you have any advice about playing Orcs at 2,500, like successful Ard Boyz experiences or tournaments or anything like that, I would really appreciate it if you let me know about it and give me a list or at least some advice.